So HR Influence serves small to medium-sized businesses with an HR strategy, and that encompasses operations, hiring, firing, compensation, training, retention, evaluations, risk. So I give the business owners a perspective from an HR lens.
Mm-hmm. What would your typical client look like then? Typical
is 25 and under, but I've done companies as big as 80 and 90 because people, because after 50, usually they have somebody in house.
Okay.
There's a lot of companies, HR usually will fall to somebody who has capacity. It falls under accounting. An admin who has it.
Accountants hate that, by the way.
Well, I totally get it. So I get brought in a lot by the CFO.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't want to do it. Or the receptionist or an admin or somebody in the company who's not trained ends up doing the bare minimum of that function, and a lot of things get missed.
Sure. Yeah. So you also mentor kind of in-house, somebody who's been designated as the in-house HR person, right? So maybe it's a slightly bigger company and they have somebody that maybe wants to do HR or is an office manager or something that is de facto doing the HR. And so that's another part of what you do, right? You might be mentoring that person.
And that's the best model, if they have somebody there so that I can teach them what they need to do. Right. And so once I teach them and we get everything in place up front, I'll continue working with management or the leadership team. But having somebody there who's there on a daily basis to do a lot of things is super helpful. That's the best model to work with.
And you work across a variety of industries in terms of the type of client. Is there any particular industry that you're targeting or looking for at this point?
I don't target necessarily. My career was in professional services with a niche in public accounting.
Sure. Yeah.
I know the environment. I know billable hours. I know the challenges. So that's near and dear to my heart. I should target them. But I've done restaurants, retail, manufacturing, all kinds of different industries.
Yeah, I know it's funny you say maybe you should target them, but I feel the same way because a lot of times I've had a body of experience in a certain area, and a lot of times it's like, okay, that was cool, but now I want to try and do something else, or I have a perspective on a different area or a different industry that I'd like to work more in. And I think that should be okay. I don't think we should be pigeonholed into just the industry that we happen to be working with before, particularly if the skill set of the profession that we're bringing to bear is not necessarily industry specific.
Right.
And
I love learning about the different businesses. And when I did manufacturing, I had to learn the business. And I did. And after that, I had another conversation with another business, and he could tell from the questions I asked, I knew what I was talking about. And I wouldn't have been able to do that prior.
So that kind of inspires a different question I thought in my mind about differences in working with different kinds of employees, because I think in the professional service realm, you're dealing with a lot of what people might call the white collar kind of higher paid professionals. Depending on the kind of manufacturing, you may be dealing with a lot of lower wage employees that you're having to manage, along with maybe just a greater variety, I guess is what I'm getting at. It's not all just one thing.
Right.
Tell us about that. How is that?
That was a transition. I went from hiring all college grads, best of the best, 4.0 overachievers, to adjusting to industries where it was a transient workforce, like in restaurants or retail. So you're not so much looking for longevity. It's an hourly wage. It's a different mentality. The expectations are different. That was an adjustment. And at the end of the day, all employees want to be paid fairly, treated fairly, valued and appreciated. That piece of it doesn't change. It doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah.